on, everybody? X-Landscaper here, back with another video for you. And today I got something, I'm doing a little maintenance on the boat. Doing the lower unit water pump and pellet change. That guy right there. So I did all the maintenance in the fall. Changed the oil, changed all the zincs, changed the spark plugs, the whatchamacallit, the thermostat. I did all that stuff, but I left the impeller because I didn't feel like doing it. But I got the whole kit, and I'll walk you guys through it. It's a pretty easy process. This is a 18-foot Parker center console. Can't really see because I got the cover on. Well, freaking pollen stuff is falling down, so I haven't opened it yet, but it's clean inside. I'll show you. But this is what you're gonna need for the job. It's a I got a Yamaha F115 4-stroke, which is an amazing engine for this boat. But this is the kit for the water pump right there. You guys freeze frame it if you have that engine. If not, it's a different part list for different engines, but it's pretty much the same exact procedure for anything from like the 15 horsepower and up to 300 horsepower. So basically you got your water pump, your gasket, four new bolts for the gasket for the housing, your wear plate, your cup that your water pump sits in. This is your wave washer assembly, and this is proprietary to Yamaha. This little plastic split washer thing. A set of O-rings and a set of new gaskets and a gasket and the O-ring for your whole assembly piece. So it's pretty straightforward. And I guess I'll get you some tools and we'll knock this job out of the park. So, all right, stay tuned. Alright, so here's a better shot of the engine. It's a Yamaha 4-stroke 115. It's small, but it's fuel efficient and it gets the job done. Boat's mint with this engine. It gets like 4.9 gallons an hour, so it barely sips, barely sips fuel. This thing's great. So, all right, we're gonna get started here. So, there's a bunch of bolts on the bottom. There's 6 bolts on total, and 2 bolts in the front. So there's 1, 2, 3 on either side, 1 down here, and 1 up here. So what I'm gonna do is tilt the engine up, and we'll knock these bolts out. All right, now that it's lifted up, you can see these bolts better. You got 1, 2, 3. 1 under here once we take the trim tab off. This is the bolt for the trim tab. And 1, 2, 3. And this whole lower unit will slide out. All right, so let's go ahead and do that. All right, so 14 mil. These things are on there pretty tight. It's been, I guess, quite a while since they've been taken off. They're a little crusty. That's what that salt water will do to you. What I've noticed here too, I got this 1 bolt out. You only got a limited amount of space here, so you gotta get yourself an open end for those. But the one on the end here, no problem. So I'll get this side, I'll get the other side, and I'll come right back to you guys. All right, so the last bolt is right in here. It's just about to come out. I need 2 hands. Once that thing comes out, you're gonna give this lower unit a jiggle, and it's gonna slide right out of the top end. So I need 2 hands. I will once I get it down, I'll get you guys back going again. All right, so lower unit's out, and I just got it sitting right here. This is that white assembly I was telling you guys about. That doesn't come new, but we're gonna reuse that, and that should be pretty straightforward to take off. It's just 4 bolts. This they give you new seals and stuff for this and here, new O-rings. Looks a little dirty, but we'll clean it up and get this thing put back together. All right, so 4 13mm bolts. Crack them all loose. Should be pretty loose to begin with. I got this thing just kind of resting on the trailer. Mad sketchy, but hopefully it doesn't fall. I don't have a stand for it. But let me go ahead, use 2 hands, get this thing off. Alright, bolts are loosened. Let's see if we can get it with 1 hand here without dropping the whole freaking thing. Ooh. Alright. So those are those gaskets. Going to replace those. I'm going to replace the 4 bolts. Set that aside. It's that cup. This has to come off. This is that wave washer assembly. Pain in the ass. But we're going to have to get that next. So let me get I guess a screwdriver. Probably pry up on that. Try to get that off. Alright, so I got that collar off. That thing was a real treat. This little plastic thing goes on first. Then you got this little metal ring. That thing was a little pain in the highness to get off. But it's off. Then here's your cup. That thing comes off. Here's your wave washer assembly. It's a flat washer, wave washer, and then another flat washer. And then with a little persistence, this impeller will come off. You can see it's cracked and it's time for a change. Engine's got 300 hours on it, so it's done good. So I'll get this off and get the new one prepped and ready to get back on. Alright, this little son of a bitch right here, you guys know what that is. Pain in the ass. So after a lot of swearing, beating, prying, I didn't use heat, so we didn't get to that point, but you're gonna have fun with that little guy. So once we got that off, which we just did, all right, we are going to take oh, scoozy, I'm gonna take this plate off. Gasket's following with it, and this is getting replaced. It's all scratched up, it's worn out. Time to go. So while we're here, we'll pop this plate off and inspect the upper bearing, carrier, seals, and see what they look like. Because if they're going to have to get replaced, now's the time, rather than putting it all back together and finding out later that you got emulsified oil in your lower unit. So we'll get a little screwdriver here. I don't want to really destroy this thing, but let me get a small screwdriver. This cap plate comes off. It's just a piece of plastic. This piece comes up, and we're gonna check the seal underneath that. All right, so I can't get that seal off, but it looks pretty good, so I'm not gonna mess with it. Why mess with something that's not fucked up? But like I said, it looks all right. Engine's only got 300 hours, so I would imagine it's fine. So I'm gonna start the reassembly. What I did was just blast some marine grease in there. This is our new Woodruff key. That goes back in there, squish it in, and then we'll start the reassembly on the plate and the water pump. Woodruff key is in there. Found its new home. Just when you put that thing in, just make sure it's nice and greased up, so the next time you take it out, it's a lot easier than what I went through. Whoever did it before obviously didn't do that, and it was a little rusted and corroded on there. So you know, for the next guy that does it, which is probably going to be me, I plan on keeping the boat for a while. So just make sure you do it so it's easy for the next time. All right, so the gasket that pops on, this green gasket, there's only one way it can go. Next step is going to be your plate. So I can do this one-handed. It's a little windy back here. I'm outside in the backyard, so hopefully it doesn't bother you guys. All right, so it's gonna go like that. Boom, beautiful. See, nice and flat. All right, now the next step is going to be to clean this all up, put the new cup in there and the new O-rings. So with that, like I said, it's pretty straightforward. The big O-rings goes on the outside, the smaller O-ring goes on the inside. I will go ahead and do that. I don't think I need to show you because it's pretty straightforward, but I'm just going to put a blob of grease in there, swish it all around so the O-rings stick, and put the cup in there, and then we'll get rocking and rolling. I'll be right back. All right, so washers are in, cup is in, plates on, gasket is on. All we need to do now is put the new impeller, which is right here. Gonna give a light coat of grease, just same thing what I did this whole thing a light coat of grease just so it doesn't start up dry. Slide this down. There's only one way this can go because of the woodruff key, so you can't put it on backwards. All right, so this is what I was talking about. See that? I don't know if you guys can see that little keyway right there. That finds its home right there, down on that key, woodruff key. So I'm gonna go ahead and give this a light coat of grease and sneeze my ass off because of the freaking pollen. All right, that's all greased up. Let's find that hole, which is right over here. Kind of push it down. It's gonna find its way, and there we go. Make sure it's nice and settled out, and that's it. Very nice. All right, now we're gonna do that wave washer. I will get that next, and then we got that plastic collar and then that metal collar that goes on top of that, and then we'll button this thing up. All right, so here's that wave washer assembly. There's two flat washers and wavy washer. So it's gonna go flat washer, wavy washer, flat washer. So flat washer, wavy washer, flat washer. Slide that down. Boom, just like that. Then you got your exclusive to Yamaha white, whatever this thing is. Like that. And then this little ring thingamajig goes on like that. Then you got to gently press it down. I'm just going to tap it on with the corners of the screwdriver because I don't have the right tool for this, which I don't even know what tool you would use, but just be careful not to ding it up and dent it up. So nice and easily just go around even around the whole thing, tap it down. All right, now that that's on, went on pretty easy. We're just gonna slide this puppy back on. Just make sure your gasket, your O-ring didn't come off, which it didn't. Slide this thing back on very gently. Okay, once it reaches here, like I said, two hands. One hand is going to be pushing down on this. The other hand is going to be spinning the drive shaft clockwise, and it's going to seat itself in. So I need two hands for that. All right, so another little tip too. Like I said, grease up the threads on your bolts. Makes it easier for the next time you take it off. All right, that went on nice and easy. Get yourself your 13 and just snug them down. You don't have to wrench them down, just snug them down. They're all loose here. All right, do the rest of these, and then what we're gonna do next, once that's tightened up, just gonna put glob this up with marine grease. You don't want to get any on top. You just want to load these load the splines with grease. Same thing with your shift shaft down here. This is pretty dry. We're gonna load this nice and heavily with grease, clean all this crud out of here, and then we'll put this thing back together. Alright, so that's nice and juicy. That's nice and juicy. Also, I don't know if you have to or not, but I just give a light, just a very, very light coating on the shaft, just so it keeps the surface rust off. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So I'm gonna need 2 hands. This has to go back on that. 2 hands. Once I get a bolt or 2 started, I'll pick you guys back up again. Alright, so low unit is back on. That thing was freaking a pain in the butt doing it by yourself. It's heavy. 2 people definitely make it a lot easier, but it can be done. I did it. So I got 1 bolt here in and 1 bolt here just holding it. Grease the bolts up. Pretty self-explanatory at this point, and just send them home. That's it. Do the last couple, and then we'll put the trim tab zinc back on, and we'll be done. This thing will be ready for the water. All right, so that's pretty much it. The bolts are tightened up. Zinc's back on. It's aligned pretty damn good. Everything is good to go. So the only thing we got to do is get this bitch hooked up and go in the water. But I'm not doing it today because obviously it's still covered. All the pollen and crap is falling down, so I'm gonna wait another week or 2. Once this pollen's done dropping down, we'll be good to go. So I guess that's pretty much it. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you like, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed already, and I'll talk to you guys soon.